Why hello there, I'm Professor Joel, and you just caught me admiring this Lego action figure. It's the Black Knight from the episode What a Night for a Night, and it's the episode we are covering today. It's pretty cool. They kind of reveal who he is. So we're starting off right away with spoilers, and you can kind of get the idea of who he is. I can't really get him in focus, unfortunately. But if you'd like to own this action figure, you can buy him. Well, you can't buy him anymore because the set's out of print, but he came with the Scooby Haunted Castle kind of mansion set. It was a very cool set. It also came with a ghost and a vampire. Like I said, you can't buy it anymore. You could probably buy it on eBay, but it is pricey. You might be able to find it used somewhere. Very cool set. Lego discontinued all the Lego sets for Scooby because I guess they weren't selling well, and I guess there just wasn't demand for it. But if you'd like to have them return, just keep harassing Lego because, if they know there's a lot of fans out there who want this stuff, they'll reissue it. So like I said, this is the very first Scooby-Doo episode ever. It's called What a Night for a Night, and it originally aired on September 13th, 1969, and it changed our lives forever. I am now a professor of Scoobology because of Scooby-Doo. I would have loved to have seen this when it originally aired, but I wasn't born yet. It would be a few more years before I started watching Scooby-Doo, and it changed my life forever. I just love Scooby-Doo. And some notable highlights for this episode is that Fred's name is never said, so if you watched the very first episode, you wouldn't even know his name is Fred. Daphne is the first to say, "Scooby-Doo, where are you?" So that's legendary. And this is the first episode where Velma loses her glasses. And, as we know, that's a running gag for many episodes to come. Also interesting is that Freddy says, "Well, gang, it looks like we're up to our armor plates in another mystery." So this implies that this is not their first mystery that they've been involved in. We wouldn't see that next until a pup named Scooby-Doo, because that's when they were like little kids, all those mysteries. And finally, this is the first episode where the line, "Would you do it for a Scooby Snack?" is said. So again, another running gag that appears later on in many episodes to come. In this episode, Scooby and Shaggy, they find an abandoned pickup truck with a suit of armor sitting in the front seat, and the gang return it to a local museum where they discover that the suit of armor comes alive during a full moon, and it just so happens that that very night there's going to be a full moon. If you'd like to own this episode, it's available both on Blu-ray and DVD in this wonderful box set. The Blu-ray box set is of a haunted house. This is of the Mystery Machine. This is my favorite. I like the haunted house one too. I don't own it yet. I do plan to have the Blu-ray set soon, but this one's on DVD. It's 41 episodes, and that's like 15 hours of Scooby-Doo Where Are You goodness. You can buy it on Amazon. I will leave links below. And now enough of my jibber jabber. Let's get to the review. The episode begins with a man driving a pickup truck down a country road at night. Unaware to the driver, the lid of the crate he is transporting opens up and the Black Knight emerges. We then cut to Scooby and Shaggy walking home at night from the movie theater. There's a full moon out, and they had just saw Star, Dog Ranger of the Northwoods, twice, and Shaggy is a little nervous walking at night. Meanwhile, Scooby, well, he's still a little pumped after seeing the flick. Upon hearing some rustling in the bushes, Scooby spots a frog and chases after it. The frog leads Scooby and Shaggy to an abandoned pickup truck with the lifeless armor of the Black Knight sitting inside. As if on cue, the head of the suit of armor rolls right off and scares the dickens right out of Scooby and Shag. Returning with Freddy, Daphne, and Velma, the gang examines the shipping crate, which reads, "Deliver to Jameson Hyde White, Professor of Archaeology, London, England."
Jameson Hyde White, Professor of Archaeology, London, England.
Delivered to the County Museum. You're right, Shaggy. This sure is strange.
Well, gang, it looks like we're up to our armor plates in another mystery.
Daphne also discovers a delivery slip that reads, "Delivered to the County Museum." The next day, the gang drop the suit of armor off at the County Museum. There they discover that Professor Jameson Hyde White, who was the man driving the pickup truck earlier, has mysteriously disappeared. And the museum curator, Mr. Wickles, explains the legend of the Black Knight and how the suit of armor comes alive during a full moon.
The Black Knight is supposed to come alive when the moon is full.
The moon was full last night.
Mr. Wickles also explains that Professor Jameson Hyde White is from England and was personally driving the suit of armor to the county museum for their collection. As Mr. Wickles explains all this, nobody notices the eyes of the Black Knight glowing, and Mr. Wickles has two of his workers move the Black Knight to the medieval room.
He was delivering it to the museum, all the way from England.
Where do you want it, Mr. Wickles?
Oh, just put it in the medieval room.
Before heading out, Scooby discovers a pair of jeweler's glasses, which are glasses intended for working with objects where magnification is needed. In a rush, Scooby snags them and pops them on. Driving to the city, Shaggy discusses how hungry he is, and the others notice that Scooby is wearing these funny, weird glasses. Realizing that Scooby may have found a clue from the museum, the gang head to the local library to figure out exactly what these glasses are for. At the library, they learn the glasses are made in England and are intended for jewelers, scientists, and archaeologists. Knowing that Professor Hyde White is from England and an archaeologist, the gang feel as if something fishy is going on.
Archaeologists?
England?
Professor Hyde White!
So they return to the museum. It just so happens that it's a full moon that night and the gang break into the museum. Now, logically, this doesn't make sense as full moons don't happen 2 nights in a row ever, but it's a cartoon. Let's go with that.
Don't worry. Shaggy's the swingingest gymnast in school.
Splitting up to look for clues, a mysterious native Indian effigy silently watches Scooby, Shaggy, and Velma. Daphne and Freddy are meanwhile being watched by a mysterious figure in an Egyptian sarcophagus. It doesn't take long for Scooby, Shaggy, and Velma to run into the Black Knight, and a brief chase ensues, in which Velma loses her glasses.
He knows I can't see without my glasses.
After the chase, Shaggy and Scooby discover that a painting is missing from the wall. Reuniting with the rest of the gang, they all return to find that the missing painting is now hanging on the wall. Freddy is a little peeved at their fake clue, but Daphne redeems them when she finds some red paint on the floor. Following the paint, the gang find a hidden room behind a sarcophagus, which is full of finished and unfinished paintings. They also find the Black Knight and a chase ensues.
Let's take this back way out.
Lots of hijinks occur during the chase, with a major one being Scooby and Shaggy crashing a World War I biplane into the Black Knight. Unmasking the Black Knight, it's revealed to be Mr. Wickles, the museum curator.
Just as we thought.
It's the curator, Mr. Wickles.
It turns out that Mr. Wickles was part of a painting smuggling ring, including his 2 museum helpers. There must have been a fourth because earlier on, when Mr. Wickles was talking to the gang, we did see the glowing eyes of the Black Knight, and we also know that the museum workers were not in the suit of armor. Wickles was stealing and selling real paintings while replacing the real ones with fakes that he would paint. Wickles knew that Professor Hyde White would know that the paintings were fake, so he kidnapped him and used the Black Knight mythology as a ruse to cover up his plan.
He and his gang were switching their fake pieces of art for the real ones in the museum.
That's why they had to get rid of the professor. Oh my gosh, Professor Hyde White!
Professor Hyde White!
Wickles just used the story to cover up my mysterious disappearance.
Scooby sniffs Professor Hyde White out, and it turns out he was disguised as the Native American effigy. Professor Hyde White then explains that the Black Knight legend is a complete hoax and complete phooey, and the entire thing was fabricated by Mr. Wickles. The sheriff then drags Mr. Wickles off to jail, and another mystery is solved. This episode is awesome. I give this 10 out of 10. This episode is perfect in every way. I know it might seem like it's redundant and that it's, formulaic, but this is the very first episode. This is where they made Scooby-Doo and the things that we commonly love and enjoy about Scooby-Doo, such as Scooby being cowardly, Velma losing her glasses, Scooby getting tricked into doing tasks through Scooby Snacks. The jokes are rather funny, and the museum at night is rather creepy. Sure, the Black Knight is a bit boring in that he doesn't speak, and his metal mask ensures that his face isn't really expressive. However, I'd argue that he's rather imposing, as he's a bulky creature, and the legend behind the suit of armor that it comes to life Well, that's rather spooky. I think any of us who heard that legend and were in a museum at night would be kind of creeped out. I feel this made for a great first Scooby-Doo villain, as it kept the show grounded in reality, as the entire events happen in a common place that, everyone's kind of probably been to in their life. I've seen this episode dozens of times, and it's always a joy to re-watch. For being 50 years old, this episode remains fresh, funny, and spooky for kids of all ages. Thank you for liking and subscribing to my video. I hope you enjoyed. Just some things that you should be aware of. Come January 1st, 2020, you won't possibly be able to leave comments on my video. There is a new law. It's called the Child Online Privacy Protection Act, and it means anyone 12 or under cannot comment on my videos. And because my video is kid-friendly, even though it's not intended specifically for kids, I consider my videos specifically targeted towards everyone. But because someone 12 and under could leave a comment on my video, and because YouTube is tracking anyone 12 and under, I have to mark my video as for kids, and that means no one can leave comments on my videos. So you have up until January 1st, 2020 to get your requests in. If you would like to still request a video after that date, I would recommend visiting planetscooby.com. That's my website. I'll leave a link below. I'd recommend leaving a comment there if you watch this again after January 1st, 2020. Also, come January 1st, 2020, you won't get the bell notice about my videos when I put them out. Anyway, until next time, stay spooky.
Would you do it for a Scooby Snack?
You must leave.